The FPHL's top team visits McMorran Place for the first time this season as the Prowlers welcome in the Columbus River Dragons. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you at McMorran Place in Port Huron. The Prowlers back home after a wild series against the Carolina Thunderbirds last weekend. We'll get into that. And stop me if you've heard this one before. A Prowler will be playing his 300th FPHL game tonight against the Columbus River Dragons. It happened earlier in the season down in Columbus with Matt Graham. Tonight, it's Dalton J. We'll get into all of that in the pregame show. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in McMorran Place, Prowlers and River Dragons just 8.5 minutes away from puck drop. And it's going to be a big series for the Port Huron Prowlers, currently sitting fourth in the Continental Division with a record of 7-6-3 with 24 points. They flip-flopped back and forth with the Carolina Thunderbirds last weekend after splitting that series down in Winston-Salem. The last game was a 6-5 overtime loss down there. It was a wild game to say the least, although maybe not quite as wild as the first game of that series. But the Prowlers had a lead of 1-0. They saw Carolina score 4 straight goals in the second period, and the Prowlers scored 4 straight of their own to take that lead back. But the Thunderbirds able to tie it with under 6 to play, and then Tucker Firth nailed the OT winner, and that was the end of that game. But a lot of Prowlers getting on the score sheet. Port Huron ended the weekend with 12 goals between the two games, and one of those guys was Liam Freeborn, who had a big weekend. 2 goals, 3 assists in 2 games. And it was really a breakout weekend for him. 5 points, including his first 2 career FPHL goals. He is up to a point per game so far in his FPHL career with 6 points in 6 games. But I mentioned it in the open. Tonight is a special night here in Port Huron as the Prowlers are celebrating their second 300 game man of the season. It was Matt Graham a few weeks ago when we were down in Columbus, Georgia, and this time when the River Dragons come up here, it is Dalton J playing in his 300th FPHL game. 204 goals in his career. That ranks 3rd all-time in FPHL history. He also has 424 points. That's also top 5 in league history. So one of the FPHL's best players throughout his entire career is being honored here tonight. We will have an interview with Dalton J between the first and second period. I got to sit down with him during the week and talk about it with him. He's had an interesting career up to this point, most of it spent right here in Port Huron. And it's been a very successful one so far for Dalton J. Well, we'll get you the starters and the lineup for the Prowlers coming up in just a few minutes. But first, let's take a look at the Columbus River Dragons. They're coming off of what was the biggest series so far in the FPHL, hosting the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Both teams went into that series atop their divisions. They're still both sitting atop their divisions. And the River Dragons, after dropping the first game of that series 4-3 in a shootout, they came back and shut out the Danbury Hat-Tricks by a final of 5-0. A big statement win for the Columbus River Dragons as they look to reign supremacy atop the FPHL. Jacob Kelly had 2 goals in that one. Bailey McBurney made the 30 saves necessary for his first shutout in the FPHL in his second season in the FPHL. When we come back, lineups, starters, and the drop of the puck here from McMorran Place. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here at McMorran Place, we're just minutes away from puck drop here in Port Huron. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Let's take a look at the lineup tonight for the Port Huron Prowlers. You see they're going with 9 forwards and 7 defensemen. Not the first time this season they've had 9 forwards, but it is the first time they've paired it with 7 defensemen. And you see Austin Federley moving back up to forward. That's where he started the year. That's his natural position. But he has been playing defense for the past couple of weeks with Frank Schumacher out of the lineup and Gino Mini in and out of the lineup. And Schumacher is back in for the Prowlers tonight. Sam Williams, of course, one of the newer additions for the Prowlers. He gets the start tonight along with Adam Hansel on defense. Up front, Tucker Scantleberry, Sam Merritt, and Austin Federley, the forwards. Federley taking that spot where Vinny DeCumbis typically is on that line, where he has been the past couple of weeks. But unfortunately for DeCumbis, he's still out with an injury he suffered in last Friday's game against the Carolina Thunderbirds. The other 2 lines stay the same. Vartiainen, Foley, Devaney, Freeborn, Graham, and Jay. As far as the River Dragons go, their starters for tonight is going to be Michael Greco and Josh LaBelle on defense. You remember the last time these 2 teams met, Michael Greco put a hit on Alex Johnson in the corner. That sent Johnson out for the game. He didn't return with an injury, and then Greco was originally suspended for a game, but then that suspension was revoked, and he was able to play in the very next game, scored a goal against the Mississippi Seawolves. Up front, Josh Petrantonio, the captain of this River Dragons squad. He'll be up front with Kirk Underwood and the former Prowler Austin Doe, and in goal, Brendan Colgan for Columbus. So the Prowlers and the Columbus River Dragons getting set again to take the ice in just a couple of minutes here from McMorran Place. We do have a special ceremonial puck drop tonight for Dalton Jay's 200th game, of course. So a lot of festivities tonight for the Prowlers. There will be even more festivities tomorrow when the Prowlers have their specialty jersey night, special edition Christmas jerseys coming out tomorrow that the Prowlers will be wearing. Specialty pucks as well. All of that will be on sale. And that will all benefit the Special Olympics. The torch run for law enforcement torch run for the Special Olympics in Michigan. But that's all tomorrow. Here we have the Prowlers and the River Dragons tonight coming up to you in just a couple of minutes. And we will take you down to ice level for the team introductions.
tonight is Dalton Jay's 300th career FPHL game. Dropping the puck tonight is his brother David, accompanied by his dad and wife Samantha.
Dalton Jay's brother, a surprise guest on hand to drop the ceremonial puck for tonight's game. Dalton Jay's 300th in the FPHL. We do have a couple of extra notes for you tonight before we drop the puck. Talk about the River Dragons. They have a new look behind the bench. Their head coach, Jerome Bouchard, is going to miss this series, attending his daughter's graduation from Auburn University. That means Jay Krupp will be the man behind the bench, so he will not dress for the River Dragons this weekend. Let's take a quick look at the goalie matchup for tonight's game. Wyatt Hofflin for the Prowlers, making his 5th straight start. 4-2-1, 4.23 goals against average, and an .871 save percentage. Brendan Colgan in the pipes to our left for the River Dragons. Stellar 5-0-1 to start the year, 2.34 goals against average. And he also has a shutout to his name. We're underway tonight in Port Huron. Thanks so much for joining us. And we have a quick whistle as that puck goes out of play. Well, each of the 2 games in Columbus, the Prowlers fell down early and by a lot to the River Dragons. Columbus held a 5-0 lead through one period of play in the first game of that series. And they built a 4-0 lead early in the second as the Prowlers look for some early pressure. There's Scantleberry behind the net. Prowlers will look for a much better start to this game than they had in either of those 2. Williams, a one-time shot that's easily steered aside by Colgan for his first save of the night. Scantleberry feathers it down low. Here's Greco. Reverses to LaBelle. Both teams making their first changes of the night. 300 game man Dalton Jay on the ice now for Port Huron. Storjahan tried to feed Doe going to the net. Instead it comes all the way to Lane King, but he split his own defenders at the point and heads all the way back to River Dragon ice just over a minute into period 1. King sends it up. Storjahan chases in the corner. Taking some whacks from Frank Schumacher back in the lineup. His first game since November 5th when the Prowlers visited the Motor City Rockers. So his first game in over a month. Good to see Frank Schumacher back in the lineup. Storjahan turns it back in, takes a shot, and Hofflin kicks it to the corner. Jay moves up the other way, gives to Foley 2-on-1. Evan Foley a shot, saved by Colgan, and he'll hold on. Juggled it for a second, but able to make sure there was no rebound for Liam Freeborn, who was crashing that back post, looking to continue his hot streak. Now you get the full Foley line out there for the Prowlers. As Rogers gives it over to Wickline, he one-touches Aldworth on his way. Quick shot saved by Hofflin, and Minnie cleans up the rebound. Here's Alex Johnson up to Larry Vartiainen. And Foley able to poke it into the River Dragons end just over 2 minutes into the opening period. Comes over to the far side to Ryan Gill. Up to Aldworth, one more over, and that one hopped over Wickline's stick as he was crashing the back post. Comes to Vartiainen at center, 2-on-2 with Devaney. He gets it in. Joe Devaney first on that loose puck. Rogers poked it away from him. Johnson coming down the boards, took the shot, and Colgan eats it up. Just under 2.5 minutes into period 1. No score yet between the Prowlers and the River Dragons from McMorran Place. Barrett set to draw with Underwood. Puck one to the board. Scantleberry first on it. Here's Tucker Scantleberry around the net. Tried to feed it down low off the back boards. And Petrantonio able to go off the boards and out. Underwood chasing the puck with Sam Williams. Kicked on further. Merritt just able to keep it away from a couple of River Dragons sticks. He gets it to Federle. Drops it off. Parsons, a wrist shot, hit a stick, and goes out of play in the River Dragons zone. Couple of ticks under 3 minutes into the first period. No score yet between the Prowlers and the Columbus River Dragons. Merritt and Wickline set to go in the face-off circle. One back by Sam Merritt to Sam Williams. His wrist shot found its way all the way through, but not on net. Spoke deeper to Scantleberry. Now Federle. Federle walks the line, reverses down to Scantleberry behind the net. He leaves it there for Williams, but it's taken away by Greco. And the River Dragons able to get it out. Scantleberry bringing it right back in, one-on-one with LaBelle, tried to take the shot, and LaBelle stymied that opportunity. Puck loose on the near sideboards. Jay in there, off the side of the net. Gets it to the point. Henning took the shot, blocked in front by LaBelle. Now Petrantonio sends Storjahan on his way. Long-range shot gloved by Hofflin, and he'll keep it moving. Ozolich's pass was deflected by Freeborn's stick. Now Freeborn causes a turnover, puts it on the far side corner. Frageau sends it out and took a big hit from Dalton Jay for his effort. Schumacher kept it away from Kelly. And now Freeborn up ahead, tried to feed Graham heading towards the net. Almost came right back to him. Instead, hopped over Henning's stick. And the River Dragons have numbers the other way. It's dropped off Kelly to the back door to King, and he scores. It was a 4-on-1 for the Columbus River Dragons after the puck hopped over Dustin Henning's stick at the Columbus line. And they take advantage. Lane King gets the goal and gives his team a 1-0 lead. 15:37 to go, first period. So for Lane King, his third goal of the season, but he's been racking up the assists this year. He has 13, and he's on a 5-game assist streak. Gill turns it back, but didn't get it into the zone. As Frageau goes D-to-D to Ozolinch. Wickline turned it over at center. Vartiainen coming in. He's got Foley going to the net. Larry takes the shot, and it goes off of Frageau and out of play. 15-12 to go, first period already. A 1-0 River Dragons lead. Joe Devaney out there for the Prowlers. Snapped a 5-game goal drought last game. He's still second on the team, though, in goals with 9 on the year. Comes down low towards Vartiainen. Now it's Foley behind the net. Tried to feed it in front. Here's Devaney. Hit the post. River Dragons moving the other way. That was a prime opportunity for Joe Devaney. He beat Colgan, but couldn't beat the iron. Now Underwood the other way. Good shot. Stopped by Hofflin. Vartiainen had it chopped off his stick by a back-checking Underwood. Now Foley feathers it on towards Devaney, but the puck poked out of play over the glass, and we'll take a timeout. But we'll also take a look at the two 300-game players for the Port Huron Prowlers, both of them hitting their 300th game against the Columbus River Dragons. Matt Graham a few weeks ago down in Columbus, and Dalton Jay here tonight. Both of them top 5 in FPHL history in points. Graham also top 5 in league history in assists with 268, and Dalton Jay 204 goals. That's good for third in league history. Offensive zone face-off coming for the Prowlers. Sam Merritt out there to take it for Port Huron. He's on a 7-game point streak. 9 points in that span, as Merritt had a slow start to the season, but he didn't heating up as of late as Storjahan steps in offsides. 5.5 minutes into period one, so 1-0 River Dragons lead. It's our first offsides of the game. As the faceoff comes deep to Prowlers territory, Hainsel first on it. Curls away from King, and now Parsons moves it to Scantleberry. He couldn't control that puck, so Kelly gets it deep. Hofflin behind his own net. Feeds Hainsel. Scantleberry able to tip it as far as the line, kept in, and that shot deflected over the net by Storjahan. Comes out top. LaBelle's shot blockered aside by Hofflin. King overskated it behind the net. Now Parsons and Storjahan on the puck together. Now it's a 2-on-2 scrum, and it looks like Brian Parsons is going to head to the penalty box. A little bit too aggressive in the corner. And the first penalty of the game going against the Port Huron Prowlers and Brian Parsons. So we'll see the FPHL's third-ranked power play at 21.4% for the Columbus River Dragons. And for the Prowlers, the PK this season all the way down at 9th out of 10 in the FPHL at 74.1%. River Dragons couldn't keep it in, so Jay can kill some clock as Columbus had to touch up. He feeds Schumacher, who sends it all the way down. LaBelle behind his own cage sends Oldworth up with speed. Power play goal for him already this season. Sends over to Petrantonio on the far side. Hofflin behind his own net. Handed it to Schumacher. He only got it as far as Doe on the near side wall. Now Wickline shielding off Jay. It's worked to the point to LaBelle. And Jay picks off that pass and backhands it down. Prowlers will change all 4 killers. And the River Dragons will start to change units on the power play as we approach the halfway point of the man advantage. We're under 13 minutes to go first period. Kelly pulls up in the zone. Drops it off to Frageau, but Frageau wasn't there. He was at the middle of the blue line, so that's as good as the Prowlers clear. Storjahan up the left wing side, head up, finds Underwood. River Dragons offsides again, so they'll have to touch up. Federley content to hold on to it in the slot, and now he'll wire it all the way down off the glass behind Colgan. 25 seconds left on the Parsons penalty as it's sent in by Storjahan. King blew a tire, but took Gino's mini stick with him. Good play by Mini to make the hand pass up to Scantleberry. Here he comes, but he lost the handle. And now just put it on net from the long range. Steered aside by Colgan, and that's the only shot of this man advantage. Goes to the Prowlers, who were the ones killing, as we're back to 5-on-5. Oldworth in with speed, takes the shot, and a save by Hofflin. Jay trying to move the other way. Stops up as he enters the zone. Bodied off, and the puck comes back to center. Here's Schumacher up towards Merritt. He deflects it in, and he goes off for a change as the Prowlers get the Graham line on. Scantleberry's still out there, however, as the pass to Wickline out of his reach, and icing is called as Schumacher gets there first. 11:14 to go, first period. Prowlers trail by 1 on Dalton Jay's 300th game. Oldworth and Graham set to draw. Jay reverses it deep. Liam Freeborn sends it to Graham. Rogers had it taken away by Jay, tried to feed the slot. Instead it comes to Parsons, and his wrist shot whistled wide. Adam Vanelli pokes it further. Schumacher kept it in for a moment. Now comes to Wickline. He's a 2-on-1 with Allworth. Wickline took the shot, and Hoffland controlled the rebound, and now he covers up. Good job by Wyatt Hoffland to make sure that rebound didn't kick out to a waiting Aldworth on the near post. He would have had a tap in, and that would have made it a quick 2-0 River Dragons lead with 10:47 to go in period 1. Graham and Petrantonio on the face-off. Matt Graham tied him up, and the Prowlers move out. Here's Freeborn. Sauces it over. Jay a shot, and a blocker save by Colgan. You know, Dalton Jay wants to score in this game. Doe tried to reverse it deeper. Petrantonio couldn't get it out. Now LaBelle up to Doe again. Hit Graham with that pass, and Jay puts it right back in. He'll head off for a change. LaBelle behind his own net as we approach the halfway point of period number 1 in a 1-0 game. LaBelle still hanging out, waiting for a breakout to develop. Finally, he sends it up towards Storjahan. He pokes it in. Minnie backhands it off the backboards to Vartiainen. Prowlers able to chop it out. Here's Alex Johnson. Johnson in with a shot. Saved by Colgan. Johnson still on that loose puck. Taken into the boards by Ozilage. Devaney pulls the puck out of the scrum. Looking backdoor towards Foley. That was blocked away. King hustling after the puck. He drops it off to Kelly. To the backhand. And he scores! Jacob Kelly went back to the forehand and beat Hoffland 5-hole just like that. It's a 2-0 River Dragons lead with 9:20 to go in the first period. So that's Storjahan, Kelly, King line coming through again for Columbus. And for Jacob Kelly, who came into this game with a goal in 6 of his last 7 games, back on the board again. Prowlers looking to answer. Hainsel put it on. It was blocked by Wickline. Comes right to Wickline. Tried to find Aldworth, but the pass was in his skates. Now Williams with a nice hit to break up that puck. And it comes in deep. Ozilage. D over to Frejo. Wickline tips it in. Hainsel backhands it in Williams' direction. And now Federley tried to feed Merritt. Williams backs him up. Jake Cox tried to lift it over. Federley could not. Now Cox down on a knee trying to play that puck. Finally, the River Dragons able to reverse it to the near side. Graham tried to feed the slot, but instead it was cut off by Aldworth. Plenty of Prowlers back as Aldworth takes a check from Hainsel. Still has the puck. Sent it to Doe, but he couldn't get a shot away. Now Rogers with a wrist shot, blocked away. Doe, below the goal line, gives it to Vanelli. Defenseman in deep, feeds Underwood, tried to find Doe, couldn't get his stick down. Now Petrantonio faked the shot, but his second opportunity didn't go where he wanted it to. Now Hainsel chops it towards Graham. Petrantonio tried to feed Doe in the slot. Now here's Dustin Henning leading the rush. Prowlers have some numbers moving up ice. And Henning drops it off for Graham, but it's poked away from him. And the River Dragons able to get it out. 7.5 minutes to go, first period. And the Prowlers down by 2. Freeborn cycles down to Graham. Up top, Schumacher with a wrist shot. Colgan made the save. Parsons put it back on. Jay got a tip on it, but Colgan got the pad down. Here's Storjahan. Moving up ice into the Prowler zone. Takes the shot right into Hoffland, and he'll hold on with 7:02 to go in the first period. We'll take a timeout. Prowlers trailing by 2 early on at home. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here at McMorran Place, 2-0 our score. Columbus River Dragons leading the Port Huron Prowlers on this Friday night. It's another tough start for Port Huron, as it was in their first 2 games against the River Dragons down in Columbus a few weeks ago. Those two both got uglier than this. First game was 5-0 at one point. Second game was 4-0 at one point. River Dragons trying for more, but sent out of the zone. Shots on goal right now, tied at 10. But the River Dragons up where it matters. Here's Kelly. Thought about the shot, instead he curls back, gives to Greco. His wrist shot looking for King's stick, didn't find it. And it goes off the backboards. Devaney tried to feed Foley. Turns it over to Storjahan at center. He'll retreat back and go for a change. 6:15 to go, first period, as Wickline enters the Prowlers zone. Steps around Parsons. Parsons takes him into the wall. Now Wickline tried to feed the middle. Here's Devaney all by himself, waiting for help. Finds Vartiainen, but the puck slipped under his stick, and that chance is lost. 3-on-2 for the River Dragons. Wickline drops it off the trailer. Gill, excuse me. And a big save by Wyatt Hofflin on Ryan Gill. Searching for his first goal of the season is Ryan Gill. He hasn't played since the River Dragons were in Biloxi, Mississippi back on November 25th. Torrance, California native out of Grand Canyon University. Is that shot tipped off a Prowler, and Wickline pokes it in. The shot came in from the point, and it hit one of the Prowlers in the defensive zone. Hofflin didn't know where it was after he made the first save, but Wickline did. He's able to poke it home. It is a 3-0 River Dragons lead. Cody Wickline, he gets his 5th goal of the season, averaging over a point per game, as many of these River Dragons are. He's up to 17 in game number 16. 5:23 to go, first period, as that one's going to go all the way down for an icing against Columbus. Prowlers will have lots of work to do. They currently have lots of work to do in this period and in the following 40 minutes. Already falling behind to this River Dragons squad. It's a similar script to their last 2 matchups. Rogers feeds it over to Doe. Comes back to the near side. Petrantonio tried to find Underwood. That was cut off by Johnson. Petrantonio finds the puck in Scantlebury's skates. And now Doe gives to Petrantonio around the net. Federley lost his stick, but he blocks the shot anyway, and that looked like it hurt. Puck went out of play. Austin Federley limps to the Prowlers bench after blocking that shot. 4:54 to go, first period, and we will take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
4:54 to go, first period from McMorran Place. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube page. Thanks for joining us on this Friday night in Port Huron. Prowlers already trailing 3-0. And they're looking to get one back here, but Jay's pass is behind Freeboard. Greco able to recover. Williams cut off that pass at his own line. Now Sam Williams looking for a lane, gets into the River Dragon zone, poked off his stick, and LaBelle gets it back to center, but he hops over Ling King's stick, and it's out. It's an icing against Columbus. With 4:26 to go in the frame, shots on goal right now 13-10 in favor of the River Dragons, and they're up 3-0. Storjahan and Graham on the face-off, just waiting for Colgan to get set. Now Storjahan wins the draw. LaBelle behind his own net. Forechecked by Jay. Now LaBelle slides over to Michael Greco. Lane King at the Prowlers line. Drops it off. LaBelle walks down Main Street and a glove save by Hofflin. And he'll hold on. Lots of space for the trailer. LaBelle on that rush. But Wyatt Hofflin able to catch it in his glove to keep the score where it is. Greco wrist shot, and Hofflin has that one too in the glove. River Dragons going to change the offensive line. They send out Wickline, Aldworth, and Cox. Also changing up the defenders, comes back to Ozelin. She's paired with Paul Frageau, who had 3 of his 4 goals this season in that series against Port Huron down in Columbus. Jay enters the zone, feeds Graham to the backhand, and a save by Colgan. No rebound. 3:50 to go, first period. But the Prowlers with one of their better opportunities of the game. Now it's the Foley line for this offensive zone draw for the Prowlers. Bartianen gets it to Schumacher at the point. Devaney chops it in front. Puck still loose in the crease. Now Devaney controls, feeds it to Henning. Over to the near side. That one didn't find a friendly stick. Cox in to the Prowler zone. Jay Cox tried to make a move around Henning, but he lost the puck. Prowlers moving the other way, but Wickline able to keep it in. Cody Wickline back to the point, Frageau. Cox sends it deep. Hofflin back to the near side. Vartiainen up to Devaney. Now Foley. Evan Foley with a high shot. And Colgan able to knock it down and cover up. 3:03 to go, first period of a 3-0 game. And we want to remind you to stick around for the first intermission here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel, as we will have an interview with Dalton Jay, who's playing in his 300th FPHL game tonight. Sat down with him earlier this week to talk about it, and we will have that for you between periods. Doe, wrist shot, gloved and held by Hofflin. 2:53 left in this opening period. Shots on goal now 16-13 in favor of Columbus. Puck sits there at the dot, pulled out, and now Doe to Underwood. Tried to feed it down low, had Petrantonio going to the net, no dice. Minnie up the wall towards Williams. Sam Williams playing forward on this line after Austin Federley blocked a shot painfully earlier in the period. He's been known to play forward and defense, and now he heads off. Vanelli gets the red line, gets it deep. Underwood takes a hit from Johnson. Now Graham feeds it over to the far side. Vanelli has Jay step in front of him, and now Dalton Jay looks to turn up ice. Over to Scantlebury. Has Graham going to the net, gets the return feed, but it slipped under his stick. Storjahan up to King at the red line. Into the Prowlers zone, laying King to the net, and he runs over Wyatt Hofflin. King also down as he was taking a check from Adam Hainsel. Hofflin slowly back to his feet, and King covered in snow, trying to turn his way over and get back to his feet. 1:50 to go in this first period. Now King back up, and everyone seems to be okay. Big collision there between King and Hofflin. Situation not exactly helped by Adam Hainsel, who's just trying to make sure that Lane King didn't get a good scoring opportunity off. So it will be a defensive zone draw for the Prowlers. Graham and Wickline in the circle. And Graham able to get it to the boards. Aldworth and Hainsel tie up there. Wickline trying to find that loose puck, so is Graham. Puck still there on the sideboards, pops out to Gill. All the way up top, LaBelle's shot, looking for a stick. Aldworth deflected it wide. Greco puts it in. Hofflin gloved it down. And now Freeborn. All the way over to Parsons. Brian Parsons with some skating room. Gets it deep, goes after it himself. Colgan plays it to the near side. Freeborn trying to put it on net. Now Liam Freeborn held up by LaBelle behind the net. We've hit the final minute of play to go in this first period. 3-on-2 for the River Dragons. Pass too far ahead of Greco. He sends it down low to Aldworth. Now Parsons up towards Graham. It's a three-a-side rush now. Freeborn. Now Graham sends it on net. Rebound there. Jay puts it back on, and Colgan stops that as well. LaBelle slaps it in. Hofflin the glove save. Plays it again with his stick. This time to the near side boards. Vartiainen just gets it back to the center. 21 seconds on the clock in this first period. Dustin Henning hard on the forecheck. Ferjot moved it away from him. Now Paul Ferjot gets it back from King. Up towards Kelly. Schumacher chopped it back to center. Final 5 seconds ticking off the clock. Here's King. Takes the shot, blocked by Henning. Puck in the corner. King tried to feed it out in front. Foley knocked that away from Kelly. And that's going to do it for 20 minutes of play here from McMorran Place between the Prowlers and the Columbus River Dragons. Shots on goal in that first period, 18 for Columbus and 14 for the River Dragons. And of course the goals in that period, 3-0 in favor of Columbus. Well, when we come back here in the first intermission, we will have an exclusive interview with Mr. 300 Dalton Jay playing in his 300th game tonight. That will be here for you in the Port Huron Prowlers intermission report. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Will Wiggleman back with you in Port Huron through one period of play. It's the Columbus River Dragons leading the Port Huron Prowlers 3-0. Well, tonight, we've mentioned it a lot, Dalton Jay is playing in his 300th career FPHL game, and I sat down with him earlier this week to discuss.
You went to the SPHL right after your college season. How'd you get there?
My coach at Westfield, our assistant coach Mike Young, he did a lot of recruiting for me and my roommate. We were the only two seniors graduating, and he did the legwork for us. And once our season ended, we got a phone call from Fayetteville. We both took off down there and stayed there for a bit.
And then you ended up in Danbury the next season. How did that transpire?
Actually, I was at Roanoke's camp, and I was released from there, and then I didn't really have anywhere to go, so I reached out to Danbury, and on my way back, they said, yeah, come on up. So I stopped there and did training camp with them, and then next thing you know, I'm playing in the FHL.
Yeah, and do you remember your first game with Danbury?
Yeah, I do. It's actually pretty funny because Johnny and Matt, they both teased me with it, but it was against Berlin in Danbury, and I was kind of third, second line, and probably had about 7 breakaways that game, and I actually only buried on one. It was the OT winner, so it was pretty cool to be my first professional goal, and it was just a relieving that I finally scored on a breakaway.
Yeah, you mentioned you played with Graham and Johnny there. How did you guys build a relationship and everything while you were there?
Yeah, I walked in the locker room the first time, and Matt was sitting beside me in the stalls, and we just hit it right off, and then Alex was couple stalls over, and then we ended up living in the same house all year, and it just became a big friendship from there. It was a great connection that we all three of us had, and it was just something that has clearly lived on.
So then, what brought you to Carolina the next year?
So Danbury dispersed. They kind of folded, so they had a dispersal draft, and I was picked up by them, Carolina, in the draft. I was down there for, I want to say, 6 games. Just wasn't really fitting into what Andre wanted as a style of play, and then I was shipped out.
Were you looking to go join Graham and Johnny in Port Huron, or did that just work out?
It just worked out. It was funny because we were actually at a team bowling event, and Graham texted me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to come play in Port Huron?" And I was in shock. I was like, "Well, I mean, you're there. Yeah, why wouldn't I?" And he's like, well, you're on the chopping block, the trade block, essentially. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, but do you want to come play here? And I said, well, yeah, absolutely. Next thing you know, the next day I was traded, and I was on my way up here.
And that 2018-19 season, 43 goals, 105 points, your best statistical year in the Fed. Well, everything just clicked for you that year?
Everything just seemed to go the right way. I was playing with Matt Robertson, who, he was a great player. He was smart. And then Zach Solkanich was our centerman, and he just was a big body that opened the ice. And it would just seem that we just knew exactly where each other were going to be on the ice, and it all just clicked. And take away for a second from me, but Matt Robertson also had over 100 points too. Our line was, dominant all year long, and it was very easy to play with those two and make that season what it was.
You also recently scored your 200th goal in the FPHL. Just was hitting that milestone mean to you?
It means a lot. It puts me up with some good players like Tyler Church. He's a natural goal scorer. And Oliver Foose, he's played in the league for years, and he's put up what he's put up. But it it was definitely something because as players you set goals for yourself, and for the longest time it wasn't anything that I was really kind of looking at. But then it was brought up to me like, yo, you're only like 5 goals away from this, and I was like, wow, like that'd be actually really cool. And then when I did it, and to do it here at home was even special.
You're also going to be playing in game number 300 at home, so how special is that going to be?
It hasn't hit me yet. To me, I think it's just another game, but it's a big milestone. It's to play 300 professional games. It's definitely shows that you can play in the league. You can also play at a high level. I mean, 300 games. Think about it. Like that's a lot of games. Considering we only play 56, 58 games a year, it means I've been in this league a long time.
What are some of your favorite memories from your time in the Fed?
I mean, some of the favorite memories it definitely have to be building those bonds with players over the years and staying connected with most of them. Like you know, Jonathan Giuliano, who plays on Motor City. You know, he was a good guy. He helped me out when I needed some help, and you know, keeping those contacts and keeping that friendship is definitely something. And then obviously all the milestones that I've personally hit, and even what the team has also done.
That is Dalton J on playing in his 300th FPHL game here tonight at McMorran Place. Well, we're through one period of play here, and just under 12 minutes from now, we'll have period number 2 for you right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. We'll get your holiday gifts at the Prowlers official team store located on the west end of McMorran Arena. The store is open every home game all season long, featuring t-shirts, sweatshirts, koozies, socks, and more. Youth hoodies and mini sticks are also back in stock. Rep your team in style with gear from the Prowlers team store. We'll be right back on the intermission report from McMorran Place. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page. Back here at McMorran Place, Will Wiggleman with you, and through one period of play, the Columbus River Dragons have a 3-0 lead on the Port Huron Prowlers. Let's take you through how it happened. Well, the first goal, a bit of bad luck for the Prowlers as Justin Henning had the puck hop over his stick at the Columbus blue line. And with the River Dragons all changing, they were all in the neutral zone, able to take advantage. It was a 4-on-1. And the pass came to Lane King, who tapped it home to make it a 1-0 game under 5 minutes in. Then just past the halfway point of the period, Jacob Kelly got one himself. And that gave the River Dragons a 2-0 lead. A nice play by Kelly, pulling from backhand to forehand and tucking it 5-hole on Wyatt Hofflin. And then later in the period, they're crediting it to Thomas Aldworth. They say he's the one who got the poke on it. I thought I saw 10 Cody Wickline, the one who got the poke, but either way, a loose puck in the crease. And Hofflin had no idea where it was. It was poked home. That made it a 3-0 game with under 6 minutes to play in the first period, and that's where we are. Shots on goal in that opening period, 18 for Columbus and 14 for Port Huron. As Brendan Colgan making 14 saves in that opening frame for the River Dragons, and Wyatt Hofflin with 15 stops for the Prowlers. Both teams getting set to come out onto the ice for the middle frame. And the Prowlers with a lot of work to do in this middle frame. We'll have it for you next. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron.
Back here in Port Huron, Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Second period about to get underway between the Prowlers and the Columbus River Dragons. Well, if you missed our intermission report and the interview with Dalton Jay during it, it will be posted on the Prowlers social media as soon as possible. But it was nice to be able to sit down with Dalton this week ahead of his 300th game here tonight in the FPHL, becoming the 10th player in FPHL history to reach that mark, although his name is all over the FPHL record books, top 5 in goals and points as well. In FPHL history, he's the Prowlers' all-time leader in goals and points as a Prowler. So he's all over the record books in the FPHL and here in Port Huron. And tonight he celebrates another milestone this season. He's already scored his 200th goal of his career this season, and he also jumped up to third place on the FPHL's all-time list. Started the season in 4th, but moved his way up to 3rd just a couple of weeks ago here at McMorran Place. That was actually last week when he moved up to 3rd. against the Carolina Thunderbirds. Well, we're underway here for the second period. A quick shot goes wide. Puck pops back out, still bouncing. Williams able to keep it in just for a moment. LaBelle finally settles it down. Goes over to Doe. Underwood knocked down by Hansel. He's able to poke it to Williams. Now Sam Williams up ice. Taken away, Greco. Petrantonio kicked it up too far. Federally able to move it the other way. Now Scantlebury at center. Enters the Columbus zone. Quick move to the outside. Takes the shot in and out of Colgan's glove. And now Graham feeds Schumacher off the bench. Wrist shot. Hits Scantlebury's skate as he was standing in front of the net looking for a tip. Just about a minute into period 2. Prowlers with a couple of good opportunities so far. Hansel was looking for that puck to knock it down with the glove. He took a hit, but the puck ended up out of play anyway. The clock continues to move here at McMorran Place. Finally, they stop it, so we'll see how long they hold it. As the offensive zone faceoff comes in for the Prowlers, King able to move it up. Storjahan back into his own end to Fregeau. Now Storjahan up towards King. This line has been dangerous so far. King and Kelly, the two wingers on this line, already with a goal and an assist apiece. Here is Lane King. Behind the net, couldn't find Kelly. Jay tips it off the boards. Prowlers have a 2-on-1. Here's Freeborn with Graham, drops it off. Graham back over. Freeborn tried to get a whack at it. Still loose, and Colgan makes a big save on Graham. Down low, Jay trying to find it. Graham couldn't find the cage. The original pass got through Fregeau. He got a piece of it, but still got through, and then chaos ensued, but Brendan Colgan shutting the door on a couple of good opportunities for the Prowlers. Freeborn gets into the zone again. Stops up in the corner. Feeds it out towards Schumacher. He just lifts it over to the near side. Freeborn gets that puck. Held up by Storjahan. Fregeau and Graham in there as well. 2.5 minutes into the second period. Graham tried to feed it out towards Jay. Well defended by King. And Storjahan comes out, slows things down at center with his team changing, and dumps it in. Minnie gloved it down, trying to turn it the other way. Foley had Jay going to the net, but a good play by Rogers to knock it off of Evan Foley's stick before he could make that pass. Foley got down to block another feed to the slot. Now Rogers took the shot, it was blocked. And now Minnie up to Devaney. Work to the point to Vanelli. His wrist shot hit a stick off the back glass, and Hofflin has seen enough. He'll cover up with 16:41 to go in the second period. Foley and Wickline on the defensive zone draw for the Prowlers. Minnie cycles to Foley. He gets it out. Rogers puts it off of Gill's stick and right back in. Johnson hassled by Wickline, who took the puck momentarily. Johnson got it back and got it to Joe Devaney. Up to Foley. Took the shot high on Colgan. So he's able to make the stop. Comes down low to Foley again, trying to find Vartiainen. That didn't connect. Rogers recovers the puck behind his own net, steps out, and moves to Wickline at center. And now over Aldworth with a sharp angle shot off the knob of the stick of Wyatt Hofflin. Devaney the other way, 2-on-2 with Vartiainen, and he'll just dump it in. Colgan gloves it, but he'll drop it with the Prowlers changing. Austin Federley back out there after blocking a shot in that first period. Here he is with the puck, one-on-one with LaBelle. Federley a quick shot, saved by Colgan. Federley lost his stick, trying to pick it up. Puck is right there. Underwood able to dig it out. Hassled by Federley. Parsons trying to keep it in at the line. He does. But LaBelle gets to Greco, and the River Dragons will try the other side. Merritt off the boards and out. Comes up towards Greco at center. Petrantonio corrals that bouncing puck. 5 minutes into period 2. Hofflin directs that puck to the corner. Now Greco back at center. Finds King streaking in. Parsons poked it off his stick. Lane King trying to find his point man. Instead, Tucker Scantleberry cut off the pass. He starts to rush the other way. Here's Scantleberry dropping for Jay. Finds Graham down low. Scantleberry! And he rows it high into the netting. I don't know if that hit something on the way through, maybe Frageau's stick, but either way, Tucker Scantleberry with a prime scoring opportunity on the doorstep. Prowlers can't cash in. We'll take a timeout, 14:31 to go, second period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Back here in Port Huron with 14:31 to go in the second period of a 3-0 game in favor of the visiting Columbus River Dragons. Jay puts it in deep. Colgan over to Frageau, up to Storjahan. Had a little bit of trouble, but second chance gets it to Kelly. Drops for King. Now King trying to find his way towards the net. Henning cut him off, but Ozelinch kept that puck in. Feeds to Kelly, and a big save by Hofflin. Storjahan to Frageau at the point. Puts it off the back wall. Jay stepped in front of King. Lane King still working on it. Took a hit from Henning. Has the puck, though. Storjahan tried to feed Kelly in front. Now Rogers at the point. Puts it down low. King knocked it down. Over to Frageau. Trying to find Kelly. Streaking to the back door. But Hofflin got his stick on it first. And the puck lifted towards the Columbus bench. Heard someone screaming for too many men on the ice. I don't think that call is going to come. With 13:30 to go in the second period, they'll just say that the puck was out of play. That's the only reason for the whistle. So we'll have a face-off at center. And it's poked into Columbus territory. Ozelinch off the boards and out. Comes down low to Hofflin. Up to the near side. Minnie. Gives to Vartiainen. He chops it in. Goes to get it himself. Colgan keeps it away from him, but Foley put it in front. Nobody was there to take advantage of Brendan Colgan standing behind the net. Now Foley, harassed by Rogers behind the cage. He's knocked off the puck. Vanelli took it from him. Poked to center. Johnson couldn't keep it in front of him. Mini 2-on-1. Aldworth. Sliding play. And now Aldworth put it on, and that at the side of the net. Sliding play by Gino Mini kept that pass from coming in. Foley looking for an outlet. Finds Vartiainen. He just tosses it into River Dragons ice. As Rogers finds it behind his own net. 12:24 to go, second period. Cross corner dump collected by Parsons. Now Hainsel up to Scantleberry. He finds Foley, and now Federley tips it in. Austin Federley first shot it himself. Scantlebury swung and missed on the one-time shot. And then Hainzel's blast was blocked. River Dragons with numbers coming the other way. But they're offside at the Port Huron line with 11:57 to go in the period. So face-off will come back out to center as Sam Merritt and Josh Petrantonio get set to take the draw. Petrantonio on a 3-game point streak, 6 points in his last 3 contests. Greco up towards Underwood. Takes a hit from Merritt as he gets it deep. Puck drops in front of Hainzel. He reverses back to that left wing side. Greco put it down with the glove. Got it on net. Hainzel cut it off, but his headband feed towards Scantlebury was out of his reach. And the puck goes all the way down for icing. So we'll head back into Prowlers ice for a Port Huron defensive zone draw. Parsons knocked his man down, but he's going to get a cross-checking penalty for it. That was Storjahan. Now Parsons and Storjahan being separated in the corner. Now Brian Parsons will head to the penalty box for the second time tonight. And the Columbus power play goes to work there, 0 for 1 so far this evening. 11:28 to go, second period, and a chance for the River Dragons to increase that lead. Graham took the draw to the near side. Jay backhands it as far as LaBelle at center. He kicks it up to Petrantonio. And now Doe. Austin Doe all the way across to the middle to Aldworth. Back to Doe on the near half wall. Down low Petrantonio. Tried to feed back to Doe. Too far ahead of him. LaBelle collects at the point. Aldworth trying to find a teammate. Puck's loose. Doe first on it. And it's poked back on net by Henning trying to block away a pass. Hoffman got a piece of it. Comes out to Aldworth. Wrist shot. Missed everything. Dangerous moments there for the Prowlers. LaBelle took a shot. Stopped by Hoffman. Comes back out to Josh LaBelle. Here's Doe with a shot. That one blocked by traffic in front. Henning one-hands it past LaBelle and out to center. Wickline had a good opportunity on right on the post that he couldn't bury. Here is Wickline again, trying to find Doe in the slot. Goes off the boards towards Jay. Foley did, but too far ahead of Dalton Jay, and he'll make a change. But scary moments for the Prowlers as Dustin Henning tried to poke away a pass opportunity, but Hoffman made the save as it came right back on goal, and Wickline never got a chance to pull the trigger. Gino Mini backhands it all the way down. 20 seconds left on the Parsons penalty. 9:45 to go in this second period. Kelly into the zone. Curls away from pressure. Gets it to King. But his pass to the point found nobody except Austin Federley. Has Foley going to the net. Gets it there. He scores! Just as the penalty expired, the Prowlers get on the board. It's 3-1. Turnover in the offensive zone. Prowlers able to take advantage. Austin Federley finding Evan Foley in the slot. And Port Huron gets on the board just as they kill off the Parsons penalty. So some good momentum for the Prowlers on Evan Foley's 6th of the season, extending his point streak to 4 games. He's already up to 6 goals on the year in game number 17. It took him 33 last year to get 8. Hensel works up the boards to Scantlebury. Prowlers looking for more, comes over to Federley. He has some space, Federley a shot, and Colgan with a big save. Scantlebury tried to put it on, hit the side of the net. Hops over Scantlebury's stick and back out to center. Johnson drops to Hainsel, all the way up towards Scantlebury, out of his reach, and the Prowlers have iced the puck with 8:42 to go in the second period. So we'll take a quick timeout. Evan Foley gets the Prowlers on the board and takes the first step towards a Port Huron comeback. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube page.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
8:42 to go, second period at McMorran Place. Prowlers have one back here in the middle frame, and it's a 3-1 game. The man who scored it just won a face-off. That's Evan Foley. Scantlebury had it poked off his stick. Now Devaney into the zone to Scantlebury. Rolled away from him before he could make a pass out in front. Feeds down low to Foley. Looking for the slot play. Instead, LaBelle took it away. River Dragons get it to Port Huron ice. Foley drops to Devaney. The Prowlers come in offside. Larry Vartiainen, the third on this line, was able to get out on the ice after that offensive zone opportunity. Scantlebury was stuck out there after the icing before the TV timeout. 8:15 to go, second period. Shots on goal right now, 24-22 in favor of the River Dragons. And they hold a 3-1 lead. Greco up towards Wickline. He couldn't get it deep. That's Underwood, excuse me. Vartiainen poked it out. Rimmed in by LaBelle. And Petrantonio collected that puck, but they were calling for offsides were the linesmen. So Columbus is guilty. And the play will come back out to center. And we'll see exactly where they spot this faceoff. It will be just outside of the River Dragons' end. Linesmen tonight are Brandon Batons and Colin Pons. The referees, Steve Gowdy and Jim Scarpace. Kelly tried to feed Storjahan in the slot. Came all the way to Foley, but Vartiainen couldn't get it out. Devaney back towards Schumacher. Storjahan kept Frank Schumacher from getting that first pass off. Schumacher again. Over to Henning, off the boards, and out, comes all the way down, but on net, so no icing. Fregeau trying to turn it up ice. Good play by Schumacher to poke it away from Storjahan. Freeborn into the zone, trying to make a move to the middle. Now great backdoor, and Colgan got the pad down to Rob Freeborn. Jaya turnaround shot stopped as well by Brendan Colgan. Williams backhands it deep. 7 minutes to go, second period. A couple of good chances for the Prowlers with Brendan Colgan right on the money. Parsons collects and retreats into his own end. Quickly up to Jay. To Graham, back to Jay. He couldn't direct it on goal, but Freeborn gets that puck. Poked off his stick by Storjahan all the way down. So it's an icing against Columbus with 6:36 left in the period. Graham and Storjahan set to draw. As soon as they fix the net behind Brendan Colgan. Graham won it back to Williams. Sends it down deep. Graham tried to put it in front, instead hit the back of the cage. Now Kelly steps past Parsons. Now Storjahan, and he pushed that shot just wide. Prowlers have a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Graham all the way over towards Jay. Couldn't collect that puck. Sent it in front. That got all the way through to Williams. Now Jay in towards Freeborn. That would have worked if Freeborn was a lefty. Instead it's Wickline. Fed it across, hopped over Vanelli's stick, jumping into the play. Jay up to Freeborn. Takes a hit from Rogers. Couple of River Dragons there, and they dislodge the puck. Now it's a 3-on-2 for Columbus. Wickline down low to Aldworth, tried to feed it back. Prowlers blocked up the passing lanes. Merritt had Minnie going to the net. Gino Minnie gloves it down. Now Merritt in the corner, back to Minnie. Takes the shot, blocked in front. The rebound poked out of the zone. Johnson off the boards towards Scantlebury. Sent in, and Rogers sends it right back out. Johnson has to wait for Federley to get back on side, put it on net. Don't know if that actually made it on goal or not. Comes all the way back down into Prowlers territory. Johnson quickly up to Federley. Has Scantlebury streaking, gets it to him. Couldn't dangle around Rogers, however. Tucker Scantlebury still chugging along, looking for that puck. Now Underwood goes off of his man all the way down. Icing called against the River Dragons with 4:47 to go in the second period. Well, the Prowlers have been much stronger in this middle frame than they were in the first. They got one back, still looking for some more as we continue to play in the middle frame. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in Port Huron, Prowlers with an offensive zone draw, trailing by 2, but the man who scored that one goal for Port Huron, Evan Foley, set to take it against Underwood. He wins it. Vartiainen, a quick shot, whistled wide, and comes all the way out to center. Hainsel in his own end as the River Dragons finally able to change after that icing. Greco turned it over. Vartiainen circles the net, put it in front, knocked away. Schumacher just held it in on the line. Petrantonio first on it. Foley looking for that puck. Instead, LaBelle has it. Comes to Schumacher at the point, takes the shot, saved by Colgan, and he'll hold on. He juggled for a second. Foley was looking for it. LaBelle didn't like that, and now we have a brouhaha behind the net. LaBelle took exception to Evan Foley looking for the puck as Colgan juggled it. Vartiainen went in to defend Evan Foley, and then a crowd gathered. Greco pulled Vartiainen out of there, and everyone seems to be settled down just a bit. Shots on goal now, 27-24 in favor of the Prowlers. They have had the last 5 shots on net. Face off one by the River Dragons, and LaBelle moved it over to Greco. He hit the referee. Second chance opportunity goes off of Storjahan at center. Prowlers recover. Now Greco backhands it out of the zone and down. Schumacher, D to Hainzel. Now Foley up ice, looking for a pass. Tried to go all the way across to Vartiainen, too many bodies in the way. Hainzel chops it back north, but instead it comes south. Here's King over to Kelly. He couldn't control the hot feed. Jacob Kelly has to retreat back into his own territory with 3:20 to go in this second period. Wickline drops to Kelly. Toe drag, shoots, he scores! What a play by Jacob Kelly, the toe drag, and he picks the corner over Wyatt Hoffland's glove. It's a 4-1 River Dragons lead. So the first chance for Kelly, it popped over his stick, bounced away from him, but he comes right back in, and a nice toe drag shot restores the Columbus 3-goal lead with 3:13 to go in the second period. It's Kelly's second of the game as that line continues to do damage. Prowlers in offsides. Matt Graham doesn't agree with that call. So it's Kelly from Wickline and Greco in the second period to give Columbus the 4-1 lead. Parsons wrists it in right off of Frageau. Now Henning and Aldworth chasing it. Dustin Henning up to Graham. Tried to drop it off to Jay. Instead, Wickline took it. Oselinch moved it up. Gill off the boards and into the Prowlers' end. Jay tried to get it out. Now Dalton Jay has some skating space. Backhands it to Freeborn. Gets the give and go back. Jay in, shoots. And a glove save by Colgan. He'll hold on with 2:28 to go in this second period. An even one in terms of goals. Both teams with a single goal in this middle frame. But as far as shots go, the Prowlers are doubling up the River Dragons. 14-7 on shots in this period. 28-25 for the game. Underwood up towards Petrantonio, and now Doe trying to toss it past Minnie, couldn't do so. Federley reverses all the way across to Scantlebury, trying to find Merritt. He does as that pass got through Petrantonio. Merritt and Rogers get there together. Finelli there to help out. He moves it to Doe. Austin Doe into Prowler's end. Petrantonio's shot steered aside by Hoffland. Now Minnie pokes it ahead. Gino Minnie starting the rush. Puck hopped away from him, however. Petrantonio gives to Rogers. Minute 40 to go, second period, as Rogers gets in, stops up, and puts it deep into the corner. Comes back out to center. Vinelli almost blew a tire at the red line, but no Prowlers were on him, so he was able to maintain control and give his team an opportunity to start a breakout. Storjahan drops it off to King. His pass to the point didn't find anybody as LaBelle whacks it back in. Foley touches it for Devaney. Into the zone. Devaney with a quick shot and kick save by Colgan. Good hit by Devaney, but LaBelle able to get it out. And it goes all the way down for an icing against the River Dragons with 49.9 seconds up on the clock in this second period. Prowlers looking to get one more just to get back within two before the end of this period, but River Dragons win it, and now Kelly looking for his third of the game. Tried to feed Storjahan, but Hainzel takes it away. Turns it right back over to Storjahan. His shot whistled wide. Shot from the point. Stopped by Hoffland. Storjahan recollects. LaBelle with 27. Gives to Wickline. Stepping into the slot. Shoots. Kick save. And they score. The hat trick goal for Jacob Kelly makes it a 5-1 game for the Columbus River Dragons. So Jacob Kelly with a huge game tonight. He has 3 goals now, and the River Dragons have opened up a 5-1 lead, although for some reason they're giving the second Columbus goal to Lane King. So right now it says it's Kelly with 2 goals, but I believe he should have 3. Jay fed it behind Graham, and that's how the second period ends. Not exactly a banner one for the Port Huron Prowlers. They outplayed the River Dragons in terms of shots, but they gave up 2, and they head to the locker room down more than they were when this period started. Shots on goal in that second frame, 15 for the Prowlers, 11 for the River Dragons, and for the game it's all knotted up at 29 shots apiece, but where it matters on the scoreboard, it's the River Dragons holding a 5-1 lead. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game as they take on the Columbus River Dragons tomorrow, with puck drop at McMorran Place scheduled for 6:05 p.m. It's Teddy Bear Toss night, so bring a stuffed animal to donate and throw on the ice when the Prowlers score their first goal. Plus, the Prowlers will be wearing Grinch-inspired specialty holiday jerseys, which will be auctioned off after the game. Specialty pucks will also be available, with proceeds from both going to the Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics. It's also a Casey's Kids Zone night, and you can skate with the team after the game. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by calling the box office at 810-985-6166. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by phone at 810-985-6166. Back here at McMorran Place, it's a 4-goal game with the Columbus River Dragons leading the Port Huron Prowlers 5-1 in the second intermission. Well, I mentioned it earlier, the Prowlers wearing specialty jerseys tomorrow night when these two teams rematch, and those jerseys will help to benefit the law enforcement torch run for Special Olympics. There's a good look at them for you, the holiday-inspired jerseys for the Port Huron Prowlers. Those will be auctioned off in the arena after tomorrow night's game. There will also be specialty pucks available for purchase tomorrow at $10 a piece. Those will also benefit the law enforcement torch run for Special Olympics Michigan. So the Prowlers getting into the holiday spirit with those specialty jerseys and the specialty pucks tomorrow. Also the teddy bear toss night, so get your tickets now to join the Port Huron Prowlers at McMorran Place tomorrow night. Second intermission still underway here from McMorran Place. We will be right back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
40 minutes down, 20 to go here from McMorran Place. Will Wiggleman with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight for Port Huron Prowlers hockey. It's been a tough go for the Prowlers between those first two periods, trailing the FPHL leading Columbus River Dragons 5-1. Well, both penalties so far in this game belong to Brian Parsons, a roughing minor in the first and a cross-checking minor in the second. Prowlers able to kill off both of those. And the one in the second period is just about as soon as that power play expired. Austin Federley fed Evan Foley on a 2-on-1. Foley got the Prowlers on the board, made it a 3-1 game at that point. Prowlers had life. They had some good pushes for the next few minutes, but Jacob Kelly was able to take the wind out of their sails, scoring twice in that middle frame. Currently, it says that he has 2 goals on the game. I believe he might actually have 3. I thought that he was the one who put home the River Dragons' second goal of the evening, but I may be wrong. But as far as I'm concerned, Jacob Kelly has a hat trick, and now I'm looking back at it. Yes, it is Jacob Kelly. So Jacob Kelly has a hat trick, and the live stats here just incorrect. So he has a hat trick here on the road against the Port Huron Prowlers. And that line has been doing a lot of damage for Columbus tonight, the Kelly King Storjahan line, as the main catalyst to build up this big lead for the Columbus River Dragons. And for Kelly, it's his 4th multi-goal game of the season and second in a row. 3rd multi-goal game of the season, 2nd in a row, and 1st hat trick of the year. And he's right now my first star in this game. Well, in goal tonight, Wyatt Hofflin and Brendan Colgan. Colgan, 28 saves on 29 shots through 2 periods of play, while Hofflin has 24 saves on 29 shots against. 3rd period coming up from McMorran Place when we return. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Both teams taking the ice as we get set for the start of period number 3, and the Prowlers need a lot to go their way for a comeback and to get even a point in this one. We do have a goaltending change to tell you about in the Prowlers net. Danik Rodrigue digging in to our right for the Prowlers after Wyatt Hofflin made 24 saves on 29 shots in 2 periods of work. This isn't the first time that Hofflin has been pulled for Rodrigue against these River Dragons. It happened in the last series down in Columbus when Hofflin was pulled after 1 period of play in favor of Rodrigue. Rodrigue stopped every shot he faced in the final 40 minutes of that one. He stands in goal right now for the Prowlers where the play is now as Williams moves it up to Scantlebury. We'll get you the stats on Danik Rodrigue in just a moment. LaBelle kicks it around to Petrantonio, and that puck off the glass and out of play. Well, Rodrigue coming in with a 2-3-1 record with a 3.50 goals against average and a 9.03 save percentage up to this point. That first win for him was the first victory of the season for the Port Huron Prowlers in Motor City on October 13th. The Prowlers, the first team in the FPHL to record a win, as that game was the only one that night that actually counted. There was an exhibition game between these River Dragons and the Mississippi Seawolves that night, but that one didn't count for points in the standings, much like Mississippi's game last night against the Carolina Thunderbirds. That one was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, as they test out Baton Rouge for a potential FPHL team in the future. Prowlers will be there next week, next Thursday, against the Mississippi Seawolves. That one will count for the standings. Merritt put it off of Colgan from behind the net. Now King moves up ice, stops up. Storjahan trying to sauce it towards the slot. Graham got a piece of it, and he sends it all the way down for an icing. So defensive zone draw for the Prowlers with 18:26 to go in this third period, and they trail by 4. Face-off tied up. Storjahan tried to force it on net. Instead, it went behind. Comes to the near side. Freeborn and King head into the wall. Now Schumacher off the boards, past Jay. Frejo on the regroup. Up to Storjahan. Sidesteps a hit from Henning. Storjahan trying to feed down low. Kelly going towards the net. Rodrigue got a poke on it, and they'll count that as his first save of the game. Now back over towards Kelly. Takes a hit from Schumacher in the corner, a stickless Frank Schumacher. He regains his twig. Meanwhile, the puck poked on net. Rodrigue able to get the pad on it. Frejo a shot, and Rodrigue the save. Puck still alive. Storjahan trying to feed it in front. Graham got down to block it. Wickline to Kelly. He heads into the corner. Curls away from Schumacher. Now to Wickline. To the backhand. He'll move up top, gives to Frejo. River Dragons begin a change. Freeborn only got it as far as Frejo. Tried to find Cox heading towards the net. He couldn't control that pass. And now Graham. Off the glass, out towards Ozolage. He moves it up to Aldworth. Turned over at center. Here's Freeborn at the end of a long shift. To Foley, takes the shot and a save by Colgan. Now Foley all the way across. Jay chopped it wide. Minnie keeps it at center as the Prowlers finish their forward change. 16:40 to go, third period. Puck comes all the way down for an icing against the Columbus River Dragons. Take a quick look around the FPHL. Binghamton holding a 3-1 lead over the Delaware Thunder in Delaware. Danbury up 3-0 on Motor City in Danbury. The Watertown Wolves have a 1-0 lead on Elmira in the second period in Elmira. And at the beginning of the second period in Biloxi, the Thunderbirds have a 4-1 lead on the Seawolves. Here it's still 5-1 as Devaney gets it in. Colgan reverses to the near side to Underwood. Loose puck found by Vartiainen. Foley took a spill behind the net. They're in the corner. Finelli feeds it up. Underwood chasing after it with Johnson. They're going to say that's an icing against the River Dragons, so we'll have another face-off in the offensive zone for the Prowlers. Just a couple of ticks under 4 minutes into period number 3. Face-off comes to Doe as he jumped it. And now Underwood with a sharp angle shot. Rodrigue makes the save, and Vartiainen chops the rebound all the way down, this time icing against the Prowlers. Petrantonio out there to take the draw. River Dragons captain, been quiet tonight, trying to extend his 3-game point streak. None yet for him. Vanelli a quick shot up high, and Rodrigue holds on. So the Prowlers finally able to make a change as the Merritt line comes out. Sam Merritt wins that cleanly from Petrantonio. Parsons tried to move up the boards. Petrantonio cut it off. Parsons on the second opportunity. Gave it to Rogers at the point. His shot deflected on, and Rodrigue with a good save. Puck was loose at center between a few Prowlers. Nobody grabbed it except Josh Petrantonio. Rogers one-touches it all the way over to Vanelli. And now Cox stymied by Williams. Scantlebury looking to go the other way. Pulls up. Fed it all the way across. Federley a shot. Rises too high. Now Parsons down to a knee. King almost in by himself, but Federley comes back to make a hit and break that play up. Just over 5 minutes into the third period. Williams finds that loose puck. Scantlebury up ice. His line mate's changing, so he's there all by himself. And now he'll just get it deep. Greco held up by Graham. King turns it away from Freeborn. All the way across to LaBelle. Now Cox stepped up on by Heading. Schumacher had his hit missed Storjahan. Freeborn all the way across to Dalton J. 3-on-2 for the Prowlers. Tried to feed down low towards Heading. He recollects in the corner. Graham looked in front, but that didn't find anybody. It comes all the way back down to Prowler ice. Schumacher to Freeborn off his stick. He sends back to Frank Schumacher. Turned it over, but Aldworth couldn't get much on that pass in front. Jay into the zone, to the backhand, put it on. Colgan to save the rebound, they score! Liam Freeborn cashes in the loose change, and the Prowlers are within 3. It's a 5-2 game with 13:45 to go in the third. Liam Freeborn had a big weekend last weekend, 5 points, including his first 2 career FPHL goals. He continues the hot streak as he gets himself on the board. Prowlers with a little bit of life, still lots of time to go in this game, but they still need 3 goals. Ozelich feeds it down deep. Wickline had it in his skate. It's poked to Devaney on the right wing side. He moves up the ice. Cross corner dump. Vartiainen tried to put it right back on net. That hit a River Dragon. Looks like it was Frageau. He's wincing a little bit. So Dalton J picks up the primary assist on that goal in his 300th FPHL game, although more known as a goal scorer. We'll see if he can find himself a goal. Here's Devaney looking for one. Looking for Vartiainen. Too far in front. Comes all the way out to Johnson. Takes the shot. That found the glass. Underwood all the way across. Vartiainen first on it. And now Johnson. Flips it high. Petrantonio let it go through. Back to his defense. Parsons to Minnie. Up to Federley. He backhands it off the glass and in, lets Merritt go and chase. Oza Lynch reverses to the far side. Federley cuts it off from Doe. Austin Doe powers it away. Underwood. Rising shot high over the net. Comes all the way back out to center. Tucker Scantlebury trying to get around Vanelli. He does. Scantlebury looking for a play. Drops it off to Merritt. To the point, Hainsel a shot. Blocked by Vanelli. And now Underwood. Cross corner dump. Parsons got it to Federley. He'll slow things down. 11:45 to go, third period. It's only a 3-goal game now for the Prowlers. Parsons up to Jay. One touch to Matt Graham. Stops up, feeds Freeborn. Saved by Colgan. Nice rush there as Liam Freeborn was looking for his second of the game. But a good save from Brendan Colgan sliding across to rob him. Graham will stay out after the icing, as will all 5 River Dragons, as required after they ice the puck. Rogers over to Vanelli. It's one touched up to Storjahan. Prowlers keep it in. Graham waiting over towards Freeborn. He had his stick lifted. Now King to Storjahan on the right wing side. Steps to the middle. Missed it. Net. That pass went off a skate all the way back to the Dragons' end. Icing waved off. LaBelle. Up ice with speed. Dumps it in. Schumacher on it. Reverses to this side. Heading off the boards and out. Kelly tried to kick it up to his stick. Does. He has to retreat into his own end under pressure from Vartiainen. Fed up to Kelly again. Has Wickline, gives it to him, and a big save by Danik Rodrigue on the 2-on-1, robbing Cody Wickline. $10:19 to go in the third period. And a big save from Danik Rodrigue keeps this game at 3 goals. Foley and Wickline in the face-off circle. And now, finally, we are all set to draw. Schumacher to Foley, and now Vartiainen touches it out to center. Henning off of a forechecking River Dragon. Columbus keeps it in. Sharp angle shot stopped by Rodrigue. Puck was loose there for a moment. Comes out to LaBelle. And Henning got a piece of that one on the way through. And it goes out of play. 9:56 to go. Third period. Prowlers have one back, but they're running out of time for the comeback. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Still a 3-goal deficit for the Port Huron Prowlers as we play with under halfway to go in this third period. 9:56 up on the clock. Wickline set to draw with Merritt. He won it from him. And now Wickline gets it deep. Henning Couldn't push it past Kelly. Scantlebury off the boards. Doesn't come all the way out though. Linesmen say it did, so the River Dragons touch up as Schumacher gives to Heading. One touch to Merritt up the right wing side with speed. Sends it in, gets it himself. Put it off the back of the net. Now comes in front. Federley touched it on goal. Colgan holds on, and Sam Merritt slow to get up in the corner. He took a big hit as he was chasing down that puck. He heads back to the Prowlers bench under his own power. 9:26 to go, third period. As the Prowlers and the River Dragons battle it out for the first time in 2 games of 2 times this weekend. It's their second series. It will be their first series in a span of 3 weeks. The River Dragons will be back here at McMorran Place in a couple of weeks. Here's Jay, walks in, shoots, and he just missed it wide. Prowlers on the road in Mississippi next week, and then they return home and meet these same River Dragons. Graham to Jay. Comes back to Alex Johnson. Wrist shot blocked on the way through by Underwood. Frageau all the way up towards Underwood. He got a touch on it, so icing waved off. Williams and Underwood come together. Meanwhile, the Prowlers have a rush going up ice. Jay steps to the middle with his pass off of Petrantonio's skate. Rimmed all the way around, and Frageau able to poke it to center. Under 8.5 to go, third period. As Frageau gets the red line, gets it deep. Rodrigue cuts it off behind the net. Hainsel fresh from the bench. Looking for the breakout. He gives to Devaney, who dumps it all the way in. Cross corner dump. Rogers collapsed on by Foley and Vartiainen. Foley took a hit from a stickless Rogers. River Dragons with a 3-on-2. Storjahan gives it back to Kelly. Kelly lost the handle behind the net. Tried to center. Comes to Devaney. Now the Prowlers, 4 Prowlers coming up the other way. Devaney has plenty of options. Put it on, and they score! It came right back to Joe Devaney, and he's able to pot it before he went behind the net. Prowlers within 2 with 7:39 to go. Everyone moving up ice, and Devaney's original pass was blocked by a sliding River Dragon, but it came right back to him. He's able to beat Colgan, who was getting set for that pass, sliding across in anticipation. So the Prowlers have some life here. Still 2 goals left to go if they want to tie this game. Aldworth had it poked off his stick. Wickline brings it in offside. 7:27 to go in the third period. Goals in back-to-back games for Joe Devaney. He reaches double digits with his 10th on the year. Now the Prowlers still looking for more, but they'll have to break it out of their own end as Greco rims it in off the glass. Comes back over to Greco, Merritt on him. Over to LaBelle. Now Wickline turned over at center. Scantlebury took a hit as he sent Foley in. Or Federley, excuse me. Federley to Scantlebury. That shot hit off a stick and goes out of play with 6:56 to go in the third period, but it will be an offensive zone draw for the Port Huron Prowlers. Merritt and Petrantonio set to take it. Comes to Parsons at the point. Wrist shot. Looking for Federley at the net. It was cut off by Frageau. And all the way back down, icing is the call against the River Dragons, so they'll do it again. Another offensive zone faceoff for Port Huron. Merritt and Petrantonio once again, and Merritt wins it again. Scantlebury had some trouble getting it to Parsons at the point, so instead he got it deep. Underwood off the boards. Parsons cut it off. His shot got through but found the glass. Underwood stepped up on by Parsons. Merritt turns back into the zone. His shot off of Colgan's glove. Federley tried to put it back on. Ozelinch cut it off. Now a 3-on-2 for Columbus. Petrantonio gets it over to Underwood. Now Doe over to Petrantonio. They couldn't connect. Scantlebury trying to turn it the other way on the counterattack. Comes all the way back out to center. Prowlers very close to too many men on the ice, but Dalton Jay smartly staying on the bench until Austin Federley was all the way off. That's a veteran move. Here's Johnson, wrist shot, saved by Colgan. Down low, Jay in front. Colgan looked like he had to make a save as Matt Graham was there trying to get a stick on it. Schumacher kept it in at the line. Over to Graham. Now freeboard to Jay. Had to kick it up to his stick, and that gave King some time to come back and make a play on it. Graham up to Freeborn. Poked off his stick by Vanelli. Jay collects behind the net. Back to Freeborn. Missed his stick. Graham tried to find Freeborn. Storjahan got a piece of that one. Storjahan off the glass and back to Prowler ice. Minnie, the 1-2 collect. Freeborn off the boards towards Jay. That was taken away by Vanelli. Adam Vanelli trying to poke it further. Said Williams stops him up at the line. Has Jay with him. And Sam Williams just dumps it deep, and he takes a hit from Storjahan, who aggressively shoved down Sam Williams. Fans want a call here, but they won't get the first Prowlers power play of the night. Minnie, under 4.5 to go, third period. Up to Devaney, most recent goal scorer. Tried to find Foley, the other Prowlers goal scorer tonight. Said Williams, able to get it to Foley. He puts it deep. Sam Williams first on it. Vanelli got there ahead of him though. Comes back to Adam Vanelli. Fed it across and now comes near side to Wickline. Into the zone, he dumps it deep. Kicks up as it gets towards Gill. Foley trying to poke it further. Now Gill collects it center. 3:45 to go in the third. Devaney at the red line, so he'll dump it in right on Colgan. He got down to make the save. LaBelle standing pat behind his own net. He's content to waste plenty of time, and now he gives it to Greco. All the way across to Petrantonio. Petrantonio into the zone. Harassed by Federley. LaBelle at the point. His shot deflected wide. Petrantonio and Hainsel digging for it. Comes to the point, Greco hopped up on him. He'll put it deep. Underwood. Took a push from Merritt and then centered by Doe, but Rodrigue has it and he'll hold on with 2:51 to go in the third period. We will take a timeout. Prowlers trail by 2, late stages, third period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
We invite you to tune in to our next broadcast tomorrow when the Prowlers host these Columbus River Dragons again. Puck drop is scheduled for 6:05 p.m. and the pregame show starts at 5:50. It's all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Prowlers, of course, wearing those specialty jerseys tomorrow that we've talked about during the broadcast. But they're still looking for a 2-goal comeback here in the late stages of the third period. They were down 4 entering the third. Still with an opportunity here. Scantlebury, Colgan down and out. Scantlebury tried to turn it on. It was deflected. Now Federley, a backhander's blocked. It comes down low. Merritt, and Colgan stones him at the doorstep. Chaos in the River Dragons end, but the Prowlers unable to take advantage. They're still down 2 with 2:24 to go in the third. Shots on goal 41-37 in favor of the Prowlers. Graham and Petrantonio in a critical draw in the River Dragons zone. It's tied up there, and finally Petrantonio able to muscle it away and get it out. In Graham's feet, Doe first to find it. Trying to step past Schumacher. And now Frejot cross corner dump as we hit 2 minutes to go in the third period. Prowlers need 2. Ozelinch to Frejot. He lifts it high and out. Schumacher, backhand off the glass to Jay. Now up to Graham. Prowlers having trouble establishing the offensive zone here. And a critical time in this game. 90 seconds to go in regulation. Rodriguez staying put in his cage. As it comes around, the glass hits someone on the River Dragons bench. And that is cause for a whistle. Puck out of play. Minute 24 to go, third period. As the Prowlers send out the Foley line with Williams and Minnie. Try and get them within 1. Rodriguez standing at his hash marks, ready to come to the bench at a moment's notice. Face off, one back by Columbus. Off the glass and all the way down. Icing called no as Rodriguez plays it. Minnie moves up and Rodriguez to the bench. Ozelinch couldn't get it past Minnie. Minnie taken down, and the Prowlers will go to their first power play. A tripping call coming against Cody Wickline. And a good time for the Prowlers' first man advantage of the night. 1:06 to go in the third period. And it will be a 6-on-4 with Danik Rodriguez sitting on the Prowlers' bench. And it looks like the Prowlers have called timeout. Matt Graham wants to draw something up, make sure that his squad knows exactly what they're doing. Of course, this isn't just a 1-goal game, it's a 2-goal game, so the Prowlers need to get one quick so that they can work then on the second goal that they need to tie this score up. Well, the deficits against Columbus have been getting better and better for the Prowlers. First game they played against Columbus in Columbus a couple of weeks ago. That was 5-0 before the Prowlers made it 5-2. The next game was 4-0 before the Prowlers made it 4-3, eventually losing 5-3 with an empty netter. And tonight it was just 3-0 before the Prowlers scored. So now we sit 5-3 with 1:06 to go. Federley over to Vartiainen, quick shot save. Puck was loose there, and it's cleared all the way down past the empty net. Under a minute to go in the third period. Oh, all the way up to Scantlebury. Around the net, Tucker Scantlebury tried to shoot, came off his stick, just kept it at the line. Nope, it was not kept in by the Prowlers. Vartiainen with a steal backhand save by Colgan. And sent all the way back down. Federley playing goal. Keeps that from going in the empty cage. 30 seconds to go. Vartiainen winds and fires. That one blocked away. Jay. Behind the net to Devaney. Back to Jay. High shot blocked by Greco. A little bit painfully. Jay again to the point. Federley. Cross to Vartiainen. Now Scantlebury in the slot. Couldn't get a shot off. Final 5 seconds ticking off as the River Dragons send it all the way down just past the empty net, but that will do it. And the Columbus River Dragons take the opening game of this series by a final of 5-3 over the Port Huron Prowlers. Before we get into our post-game show, we want to give you one more reminder to tune in to our next broadcast tomorrow when these two teams go back at it with a 6:05 puck drop pregame at 5:50. It's all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Well, I mentioned it a minute or so ago that the deficits have been getting better for the Prowlers. Just a 3-0 deficit to the Columbus River Dragons tonight. But they still were unable to make the comeback, falling 5-3. Let's take another look around the FPHL. Every team in action tonight and every game counting, unlike last night when the Mississippi Seawolves defeated the Carolina Thunderbirds in overtime. That was an exhibition game in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Early in the third period in Delaware, the Black Bears with a 4-2 lead over the Thunder. Hat Tricks holding a 4-0 lead on the Motor City Rockers through 2 periods of play in Danbury. The Wolves and the Mammoth knotted up at 1 goal apiece in the second period, at the end of the second period in Elmira. And finally, down in Biloxi, the Mississippi Seawolves just recently got a goal from Jeff Epbright to pull within 1. It's a 4-3 game, late stages of the middle frame. Former Prowler Ian Wallace is in that one, is tending the goal for that one for the Seawolves. Well, the Prowlers tonight, I mentioned they fell behind 3-0 through 1 period of play. Evan Foley got one back past the midway point of the second, but Brendan Colgan stood tall against some great Prowler chances to try and make it a 1-goal game. And then Jacob Kelly scored his second and third goals of the contest for his first hat trick of the season. And that gave the River Dragons a 5-1 lead heading into the third. Prowlers tried to battle again in the third period, tried to make the comeback again. But once again, they fall short against the Columbus River Dragons. Final shots, 39 for Port Huron, 37 for Columbus. Looking to the team stats, Kelly leading all players with 4 points, 3 goals and an assist. Cody Wickline, 3 points as well. 3 points for the River Dragons. While Brendan Colgan made 40 saves on 43 shots. He was spectacular tonight, facing a lot of rubber. Wyatt Hoffland, 24 saves on 29 shots in 40 minutes of work for the Port Huron Prowlers. Danik Rodriguez stopped all 8 shots he faced in that third period. Evan Foley and Gino Mini, the only 2 Prowlers with multi-point games. Foley, a goal and an assist. Mini, 2 helpers. But not enough as the Port Huron Prowlers fall tonight to the Columbus River Dragons. Well, that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you so much for watching on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel, and we hope to see you right back here again tomorrow night when the Prowlers face the River Dragons again. For everyone here at McMorran Arena, I'm Will Wiggleman. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night.